And so one of the primary roles of a mindfulness teacher is to encourage courage, because it's scary to be with unpleasant experience. And so when we're encouraging this courage, it's important to create a safe container where people feel like they can drum up that courage to do something that's difficult. And so this element of safety is critical. Creating a safe container, creating a safe environment where we are embodying mindfulness by not judging our students whatsoever, allowing their experience to come forth, and creating safe processes, safe protocols for opening to experience. And what I mean by that is being very sensitive to the potential for waking a tiger, for triggering or re-triggering trauma, or just, leading people past their window of tolerance. And so when we work with people, we don't want to touch on their deepest, darkest fears or pains or shadows without having some training around trauma sensitivity. And working with people in a step-by-step approach where we are very gentle, where we work with people on cultivating their hearts in a step-by-step way, kind of going in baby steps. And also working with people's unpleasant sensations in baby steps as well. A lot of people are afraid of their shadows and their traumas, understandably. A lot of people are afraid of feeling unbridled joy as well. And so as we're working with people's hearts and their bodies and sensing into their full embodied presence, it's important to go in baby steps. And so when we teach mindfulness, it's usually helpful to start with practices like mindfulness of breathing, by sensing into the belly rise and fall as we breathe. That tends to not be too triggering for people. We're keeping it simple. If anything unpleasant comes up, we want to be aware of it and work within people's window of tolerance. I highly encourage the book called Trauma Sensitive Mindfulness by David Treleaven, who is one of the speakers here at this conference. And he actually gives a nice approach for how we can be mindful even in the midst of trauma without re-triggering ourselves or other people. So I do recommend that book for mindfulness teachers. I also recommend A Clinician's Guide to Teaching Mindfulness, which is a book that Jack Kornfield wrote a foreword for. There's a few books on Amazon that you can learn more about how to teach mindfulness. But David Treleaven will be joining me tomorrow afternoon for a live workshop on how to teach trauma-sensitive mindfulness on my website. But starting with a practice like mindfulness of breathing typically is a nice starting point. Then segueing into practices like body scan tends to be a nice logical continuation. But with body scans, I've found that some people have a love-hate relationship with them. Some people love them, some people hate them. I'm using hate sort of playfully here, but some people just don't like them. And so with body scans, I think it's helpful to know that there's no one way to do a body scan. John Kabat-Zinn did not come up with a body scan or patent a body scan. His body scans are great, but a lot of people feel like you have to do the John Kabat-Zinn body scan, but that's not the case. We can actually be playful with just sensing into different parts of the body without judging. Just noticing what we can sense in different parts of the body. And so you can scan it from your toes to your head, which is what I typically teach, or from the head to the toes. You can go from left to right, right to left, up, from the back to the front if you want. You can bounce around. You can even scan for sensations that are related to only bone or flesh or skin or liquid like blood, urine, tears, saliva, the air element. So you can sense for different elements if you want. But the point, the essence of a body scan is just sensing into different parts of the body without judgment. Some people will map colors onto a body scan. I encourage people to try not to use colors too much, because oftentimes people will get in their head visualizing things, when what we're trying to promote is this embodied sense of being, sensing into our feet from our feet, not from our head, sensing into our belly from our belly. And this takes practice. This can take years. And it can be a big paradigm shift for a lot of people to sense in the body from the body rather than from the head. So I also encourage people when they teach mindfulness to teach from experience as much as possible, to go on as many silent retreats as possible. I think mindfulness teachers or people who teach mindfulness, I would recommend, well, as many retreats as you can go on, but hopefully at least one a year, maybe 5 days, 10 days. I know that's really difficult for a lot of people. And so what I recommend is to try home retreats. I have a pretty lengthy article on my website about how to do a home retreat. Basically, limit distractions, try to be disciplined by sitting, like doing mindfulness practices and meditation, sitting as much as you can, mindful walking, mindful eating, and really trying to do that as much of your day as possible for as many days as you can afford it. But retreats, I think, are essential to keep deepening our own practice, strengthening our integrity for what we're sharing based on our experience. And so, this world needs more mindfulness teachers. My wish is that people find the courage to deepen their practice, to share mindfulness in a way that is compassionate and trying to help people. Mindfulness teaching is not about building up your status or your fame or your pocketbook. It's about helping others. And, this is not about you. This is not about me. And in my opinion, it's not even about mindfulness. It's about people's suffering, people's pain, people's stressors. And so if we can teach to that, I think chances are we will help them in some pretty profound ways, or at least we'll be planting seeds for those seeds to grow in the future.